Oh, nope. Nope. Oh, come on. I've watched every single wheelie video on the internet over the past month to figure out what I can do to improve my wheelies. It turns out that while nearly every mountain bike channel has a wheelie video, not everyone agrees on the best way to do them. During my research, I found 3 wheelie tips that I never knew. Today I'm going to share them all with you and we're going to put them to the test. I'm going to try to break my wheelie distance record. My name is Aaron. Welcome to Super Rider. On this channel, we break down complex riding skills into easy to learn techniques so you can quickly apply it to your riding. The funny thing about all of this is that I grew up as a trials rider, so I probably spent more time over the back wheel balance point than just about anyone. But when it came to wheelies, I only needed a couple pedal strokes to jump gaps or to jump up onto stuff. So I've not done what I usually tell everyone else to do. Practice makes progress. I haven't put in the time to do proper wheelies. Even though I've never been a long distance wheelie rider, we're gonna change that all today. It's time to make my distance record happen. Now to be honest, I probably only need 4 or 5 pedal strokes to have a true record, but I wanna make things interesting. So we're at this track. I'm gonna try to do 100 meters, which is the entire length of the track. Before we try to break my wheelie record, let's talk about the 3 tips that I didn't know. I'm going to skip over all of the wheelie basics because there are more than a few videos on the internet that explain that, and we're just going to go right to the good stuff. Also, if there's a wheelie tip that I missed that's sort of obscure and interesting that's helped you out, please leave it in the comments below. We're all here to learn and get better at doing wheelies and all kinds of other bike riding, and that stuff really helps everyone. So number 1 is to move our seat down a few inches when we're riding. Now most people say it's so that you can get to a better point over the back wheel balance point, but what it also does is it allows your knees to bend when you're pedaling, which means you can bend them out and you can use your knees to balance yourself side to side while you're doing the wheelie. Number 2, let's talk about wheelie gear. What gear are you actually in when you're doing wheelies? Now in the past, when I've referred to wheelie gear, I've meant 3rd or maybe 4th on the back here, something really light that will allow you to quickly pop up your front wheel. But now that I think about it, when you're going slow, things are harder. In fact, I teach that a lot of times. If you want to increase your balance, if you want to make things harder, you should ride slower. But now that we're doing wheelies and trying to get this distance record, I think actually that's making it harder. And so the second tip that I'm learning is that you should actually bump your gear up just a little bit so that you can go faster. The faster you go, the easier it will actually be. So in the past, I've wheelied in a 2 or 3, maybe 4. Now I'm gonna bump up to maybe a 5 or 6 and get that extra speed so I can get the distance that I want. Tip number 3 is all about the front wheel. Now you hear a lot of people talking about wheelies. When your front wheel gets too high, grab your back brake so you don't loop out, and that makes perfect sense. It's great advice. But then what? Your front wheel drops. So building on what we talked about in our last tip about pedaling harder and going faster, I'm now realizing that your pedals play a role in pulling that front wheel up when it drops down. So the thing about riding a wheelie is that you're never locked in perfectly into the balance point, either front to back or side to side. And you're always trying to find the balance point. You're always looking for it. And you're using your knees left and right to stay balanced this way, but you're using a combination of your brake and your pedaling to do the balance this way. And I think for the longest time, the thing that held me back was that I never thought about pedaling harder as a way to bring the front wheel back up. I only thought about using the brake to drop the front wheel down. And so now that I understand the way that those two interact to keep the front wheel moving down and up to find this balance point, I should be able to get the wheelie done. Now for the true test. I'm gonna go to the starting line back there and try to rip an entire length of this track, 100 meters. Wish me luck. How funny would it be if I get the whole distance on my first try? Not likely, but it'd be sweet. All right, here goes. No way. Ooh, that was about halfway on my first try. I think maybe I need to set up a GoPro at the finish line now just to be sure that I definitely get my first attempt. I think actually I might go a little bit faster. I might add another gear and see if I can push it in an even harder gear, because I think I was kind of topping out on, what am I in, 5th gear? So I might just click it up one more and see if that makes a difference. All the tips that I've just been talking about actually work pretty well. It's actually way harder with the heavier gear because now the weight of the pedals actually, as you're pushing each one, makes way more of an impact. So I'm finding that kind of sweet spot. Maybe fifth gear is where I should stay and just deal with the speed. Because if I go to a harder gear, each one of the pedals makes such an impact, it actually throws me off balance. Here we go, take 5. Oh. Oh, I thought I had it. So close. I thought I had it that time. Total heartbreaker. I was within like 20 feet of the finish and my front wheel just, I'm getting farther and I've definitely broken whatever record I previously had. I just want to get that 100 meters now because I want that to be the record. So I guess it's sort of mission accomplished, but we've got to get this done. Oh man. Come on now. Yeah! That was pretty cool, and honestly it was really interesting along that 100 meters how often I used the different individual techniques that I had learned over the course of this video. There were certain points where I needed to speed up, certain points where I needed to use my knees to balance, certain points where I needed to tap that brake and do all kinds of other stuff. So it's never just this perfect locked into the balance point. You're always throwing everything you can at the wheelie to keep that front wheel off the ground. And I just did it for 100 meters, which is awesome. That's definitely my new record by a long shot. Did you also know though that the wheelie technique works really well for riding up and onto stuff? If you want to learn how to build on top of what we just learned today, go check out this video right here. It's going to give you everything you need to build on top of the wheelie technique.